Now, was Chad the sharp one in this one, or was it the audience that were the sharpest tools?
And speaking of tools, my man, my brother from another.
Wow.
Damn, wait a minute. That's
Shots.
not a good segue.
Great. Oh my
No,
God.
fuck.
No, cut,
You're
cut,
leaving
cut,
that
cut,
in there.
cut.
You're leaving that in there now. This has got to be the
That's the
video.
intro. That's
I
the
can't
intro
believe
right there,
you call
dude.
me a tool. Damn.
It's truly frightening.
This isn't a
Because
man.
you're home.
Oh man, I got this. Take one for me too, man. Yeah.
What's up, Harbor Fiends? Once again, it's your boy, Ricky Van, aka Ricky Grimes. I am back with the Three Corners of Horror here at Harbor Fiend TV. I am going to introduce to you first the panel. We got two guests here. Of course, we have Lexi, the fourth corner, once again joining us. What's up, Lexi?
Hey, on vacation this week and I'm drinking margaritas instead of wine. That's weird.
Salute.
Ready to talk about how to get the act.
Yeah, nah, I
I'm
love
ready
that
for
laugh.
this one though.
That laugh is trademark Lexi. I love when she does it. And of course, my man, Gilly from the Attic Review. He's part of the family at this
Horror
point.
Fiend family.
What up, bro?
Good
What
to
up?
see you guys. Good to see you guys. Been looking forward to this since we talked about it. I can't wait for this one, man. I can't
Yeah.
wait. And Lex, I'm glad you're enjoying your vacation. Hope you guys are enjoying some good horror. It's been a good week.
Yeah.
Nice
It's
to
funny
meet
because
Me too.
This is my first time with Gilbert.
Oh.
Same here. Yep, right here. So this
Good
is going to
God.
be a fun conversation.
I believe it was our last review together where you and GR brought up this particular film we'll both be talking about. And I haven't seen it at that point, but I heard GR talk about it. But speaking of the man, the myth, the legend. What up, the villain, JR? What up, son? How you doing, bro?
Found footage horror, man. I can't wait to talk about this one. Now, was Chad the sharp one in this one, or was it the audience that were the sharpest tools?
And speaking of tools, my man, my brother from another.
Wow.
Damn, wait a minute. That's
Shots.
not a
Fuck.
good segue.
Great. Oh my
No,
God.
fuck.
No, cut,
You're
cut,
leaving
cut,
that in
cut,
there.
cut.
You're leaving that.
All right, my man, Jonah Psychologist. What's good, bro?
What's up? Yeah, another found footage. I kind of was, I don't know, like JR was telling us about this movie, and I kind of sat there waiting for the punchline.
In this episode, we are going to dive deep into found footage in a 2022 film, Chad Gets the Axe, directed by Travis Bible. Cast includes Spencer Harrison Levin as the lovely Chad, Michael Bonini as the sweet and spicy Steve, Tanisha Figueroa as Jennifer. 4 social media influencers live streamed their trip to Devil's Manor, former home to a satanic cult.
Hashtag Chad Gets the Axe. Did the filmmakers deliver on that promise? Let's talk about it. Gil, I'm going to throw to you first, my brother. What were your initial reactions to this one? Because I know you were one of the ones that kind of hyped it up for me. So what's good, brother?
Oh man, I'm trying to contain my excitement. Here we go. I freaking loved it. All right. I was going through Shudder and all of a sudden I saw that thumbnail and I was like, what the horse's butt is that? I saw the hashtag immediately and I saw those obnoxious influencers and I was like, I hope they die. Let's check this movie out. It looked kind of cheesy and started it. It's like no like production companies, nothing, just straight into it. I was like, what is this? I like it. And immediately I'm like, these guys are so annoying, but we need that in horror. I'm tired of going for the kids, you know, like I'm going for Sidney Prescott. I'm going for these people. I want to root against them again. And these guys are prime to root against. And I'm a captions guy. I've said it over and over. Whenever I watch a movie of any sort, I have the captions on. So the comment section was like breathing to me. And that immediately like chloroformed my ADHD. Like I was like, okay, now I'm going to sit down and focus on this movie because those comments are just leaving me in stitches. I loved it. And, you know, it's difficult at first to tell people to watch this because I think the initial rebuttal is going to be like, the characters are so annoying. And I get that. But they're supposed to be. That's their job. You know, it's like bringing back 80s horror where you're rooting for the villain. And here we're rooting for the bad guys to get these obnoxious assholes. There was just so much fun going on with the chaotic energy of the influencers. But like, I'm a hawk for details in the background. So it was great to have like a watchful eye of all this stuff being presented to you. They're talking, they're plugging in their sponsorships like, influencers do. But if you're looking in the background, you see like a shadow. You pause it. You're like, what the hell is that? So this is the first time in a while that I've had a lot of fun. I mean, there's just so much detail in the comments to the backstories of the characters that if you're paying attention to the comment section, you're reading more about the sins of Chad. You're reading more about why people don't like certain influencers. And this movie was more intelligent than I think the thumbnail gets it credit for. Because like if you see the thumbnail, you're like, oh, Chad gets the X. This is more smart and coy than people I think will give it credit for. And I hope they give it a chance because this is one of the horror films that I'm mad that I slept on. And I hope others don't. I know JR feels that way. And Joe, you might not feel that way. But this was one of my favorites of this year. Now, this was a great, unique movie. I'll leave it at that.
Lexi, the fourth corner. What's up, Lexi? I see you smiling over there. I see you smiling. You're feeling nice. Let's talk.
Yes. I am going to play devil's advocate for a sec. I will say the good things first. I like the fact that it does come from like a live stream point of view. It's a little too Gen Z for me, so let me throw that out there. It's not my type of film to watch. I know there's other ones out there like this one. However, it kept me engaged. Like I wanted to know as the story kept going, like, oh man, was it Steve-O? Was it their other friends that didn't even come? Like, so it kept me like thinking and trying to guess and what was going to happen next. And were they all in on it to get Chad? I was engaged. So that's the good side of it. I barely know how to log on to talk with you. So for them to like swipe, I guess iChat was the iPhone. So for them to like swipe back. Yeah. So when it kept going back and forth, I was like, wait, what is he clicking on? I'm Android. Okay. It started off in the cold open that they tricked, I believe, Spicy Steve. And so I thought this, and I went, and that's what this film did for me. It took the viewer watching the film. Oh, they're just going to prank back at him. Even it was a horror comedy. So I'm thinking this entire time, they're just trying to get back at him. When is it going to, tell us at the very end? Oh, they're all going to pop out and surprise, it was just a joke. No, it just didn't turn out that way. So for me, I mean, I liked it. Will I watch it again? Probably not.
I'm going to throw some blame on JR here because in our chat, he made me kind of feel like this was going to be a horror comedy. So when I told Adam, I'm like, yeah, I think it's a horror comedy. Like Jared was like talking about something was funny, because I read his comments, but he's talking about a movie we might possibly see. So I don't want to spoil it. So I just read a couple things there and I'm sitting here. I'm like, so when's the comedy going to happen? Because these people are fucking annoying. But, the comedy was in the comment section, which is, where I'm going to say that Gilbert is right. Because, in there, a lot more happened in the comment section than it did in the movie. And then, I don't know, about halfway through, I went, I don't think this was a horror comedy. I think this is actually a legit horror movie that was supposed to have a commentary about influencers and how their, viewers are. And I'm like, had I not gone into it because Junior's messaging made me think it was a horror comedy. So I came in completely different mindset, waiting for the funny, finding the characters annoying, and then going, maybe it's all in the fucking comments. So, I mean, I'm a little on the middle on here because I'm a horror fan. I wanted to see them like die on the camera. I didn't want Blair Witch type of deaths, which I thought it was kind of funny that somebody in the comment, what did they say?
I got it right here. I got the comments. So I'm over this Blair Witch shaky cam, the Blair Witch Project. What's Blair Witch?
No, it was the Blair Bitch Project. When I saw the Blair Bitch Project, I was like, okay. And I'm like, literally that's what I'm kind of watching. Yeah. So like I said, this is one of those conversations is going to be where my final thoughts is going to be on what most people are going to be saying. But what I'm saying is that this is what sometimes happens, the same thing as if you watch a trailer. Based on a conversation, I went in, I smoked a couple bowls because I thought I was going to be sitting here laughing my ass off on, and I'm like, when is it going to get funny? Like,
Same.
so that was my part, So again, JR, it's not all your fault. You didn't reveal the whole movie, but I think my perception was that you were trying to tell that, oh, you guys are going to like this. It's a horror. And I like horror comedies. We've done a couple of them on here. So, but the movie as a whole, I did like it. It got entertaining in a good horror way. I would rather have seen the deaths. I get it's found footage, but in some found footage, you actually get to see the deaths. So me personally, besides Chad getting the axe, I would have liked to see the other deaths.
Well, it's funny because this movie actually had a lot. This movie, the whole chat was the older generation versus new generation the whole time. The older generation was constantly putting up comments about, like, there's a scene where Chad gets rescued by the two guys. Well, he's trying to start the car, and they're like, yo, Flintstone that shit. And the next comment was, what's Flintstone? So a lot of the comments was what was driving the film. You had another one where,
who were those two guys that picked them up? What, guns? What?
God, they were like the frat boys.
Frat dudes, I loved them.
Frat, yeah, I mean, the
He was talking mad shit about them. Then they showed
Trent and somebody else.
but they had the username was like guns, and it's funny.
And for wrestling fans, there was a word that was being used this whole movie, and you guys didn't. Did you guys pick up on it? Look at that! And you guys are WWE wrestling fans. And Lexi's favorite is one of Lexi's favorite wrestlers, and you guys didn't even pick up on one of the arguments going on throughout the entire film about one specific word.
Mark? I don't know.
Mark?
Nope. Yeet.
Oh, geez.
The whole time, this reminded me of. It was the word yeet because the dude kept using.
I was muted. I'm going. Yeet.
That's a wrestling term?
Yeet.
No, because the dude kept using it, and
I know that word.
No, that word is old. But some wrestler
funny.
now got lucky with a
used it.
trademark, and he picked it up from.
But every time the guy would use it, they would, dude, you're using it wrong. They would attack him. So the whole argument, it was like if you ever watched.
That's why I first heard the word yeet was in the chat rooms.
Yeah, it was freaking hysterical because the dude.
Too. Yeah, I was like, you got heated. I was like, what's that? That word's hilarious.
He used it wrong the whole time. And it turned out the end of the movie where he finally used it, and the guy goes, "All right, I'll give you credit. I'm proud of you. You kind of used it right." So there was another one where when she puts the phone on the paddle. Oh, she's MacGyvering that shit. Next comment, what's MacGyver? So there was a lot of back and forth with the older generation versus new generation, even to the point where one person goes, I hate Gen Z. Another person goes, man, our generation is fucked. So a lot of the comments were basically, it was a social commentary on how we view, like the older generation views stuff, and the younger generation just doesn't give a fuck. So like they wanted these dudes to get killed. And this reminds me of another movie about, the death of a blogger. Same thing. I don't know if you ever seen that one.
That's a good movie for me. I liked it. Yeah,
it's the same thing as people do whatever they want for views. But when it's a backlash on them, they alter persona. But yeah, this movie was more about the commentary because characters were annoying as shit. But it's seeing the reaction from the people and how they turned on them. I mean, who was it? Was it that couple that they hated because they're boring because the dude kept saying so? Yeah, Jennifer. Yeah, they hated their guts because the dude was boring as shit, and he was just
dumb as a bag of rocks. Yeah,
he was dumb as shit. But, this
great abs though. Great abs.
But come on, what was it? Was it a Tinder song that he sang?
Swipe right on my heart.
I was like, this is.
I got the song on Spotify. I loved it.
No, you did not.
It shows you the two sides of social media influencers. You got Chad, who is the one that relishes in it to the point where he can't have a normal conversation with people. Because that's the only way he knows how to talk to people is in character, just loud, brash, obnoxious. That's just that's who he is. And then you got Spicy Steve, who wants the fame, but he doesn't want to sacrifice his morals to get there. Going by, I love one of my favorite scenes is in the beginning when he's having pretty much a nervous breakdown before he has to film his promo to promote his upcoming video. You don't get that side of streamers. I bet you like 80% of these people that are social media influencers, behind the scenes, they're nothing like that. They're like this guy. There's this guy shaking. He's like on the verge of an anxiety attack. And I felt that. Then when he hits the record button, he's a completely different person. And I think this film showcased that. And I think people are going to miss that side of this movie. people are going to look at the comedy side, which is, again, I don't, like Joe said, the comedy didn't really come from what was going on. The comedy came from the chat room, because that's what the chat rooms are like. Minus, I mean, the movie did take liberties. A real chat room would have been, you couldn't read anything in the fucking comments. So here, they did.
We're a little slow.
They had over 5 million viewers, and the chat is at a snail's pace still. It's impossible, but I appreciated that, because what I was worried is I had to watch the movie and keep doing this. You know, I have my subtitles turned on in the beginning. Gilbert, we talked about that. I have them on now. I had to turn them off. I couldn't do that, watch the movie, and look at the chat. I had to turn them off.
It covered it.
But the chat room was a huge part. And I like what you said, Gil. It's true. A lot of the exposition on the characters and their backgrounds, and even what's happening next. Like when certain scenes are happening off camera, you don't know what's going on. The chat room, it tells you what's going on. The protagonist reads the chat, and then they switch the camera angle. So I love how they played into that. Lexi, I'm gonna ask you, because I know you weren't really digging on this, which is a really good. I like that, because we get your side of it. I mean, this generation, I don't like them either, to be honest with you. But I love that they're represented so accurate. It's like watching The Boys. You watch The Boys this prior season. If you haven't seen it, no spoilers. But it's a satire of the times now, and this movie is a satire of the times now, but what these younger people who live on social media, and this is their personas, this is the mask they put on. And the chat room, I could honestly, I'd rather watch the movie than watch the chat all the time. I missed a lot of it. I got to go back and catch them. But I caught a few. I wrote them down. We'll go over that later. But Lex, I'm gonna ask you, what did you think about the chat room? Anything stuck out to you as far as plot points, anything humorous, or anything cringeworthy? So let us know. I'm gonna ask you first.
Like I said, it wasn't like the best film. It just didn't work with me. However, there was good aspects of it. I mean, like you said, love it or hate it, this is the generation we're in now, unfortunately. And it's a lot of high tech. Like, they were very fast paced and switching from app to app. But however, the chat, I thought they were hilarious. I mean, the good thing about this film is that it was very realistic. I mean, this was us as a viewer logging into a live stream, and we're watching it. And the chat was completely realistic to me, except the speed. That's crazy you say that, because that's right. There's 5 million, and that's really a very slow paced chat room.
You wouldn't be able to read it. Trust me.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. However, I thought they were hilarious. And that is the humor. If it is a horror comedy, I thought it was just a regular horror film, but the comedy of it is the commenters. So I don't really remember what stands. I watched the film today, and that's how much I wanted to forget it. I don't really remember some of the comments, but I do remember the Blair Bitch project. That was hilarious. That was my favorant part.
I didn't see that one. I missed.
Well, it's funny because when I saw that, I was like, "That's what Rick is gonna fucking label this." When when we put it on there, I'm like, he's gonna put the Blair Bitch project, because it's like kind of fitting into how the movie was.
Yes, you can see in the chat though that there was definite supporters of Chadpians, and there was also haters of Chadpians. So I love the dynamic duo of the two, because you saw people like, just kill this guy already, just make him disappear, let's just log off, stop streaming. I liked the horror aspect of this film more than I did watching the comments and seeing him go from app to app trying to order a ride that was never going to come but 45 minutes later, and police not even believing him. I mean, that's the downfall for me, is just the Gen Z attitude of just being that hyped and that annoying and caring about nothing but the views and his fans, which is fine and great, because that's what we're doing right now, right?
Yeah, that's reality, we care about unfortunately.
Yes, it is.
They wanted nothing to do with him. 911 hung up on him. Even his own friends were like, nah, son, the follow, because they know, nah. And
you can text 911? I'm sorry, that got me floored.
Yo, that was like, wait a minute. I'm going to start doing that when I have to do
You can do that too. 100%. That's been an old thing. Yeah.
I
almost
found
wanted
that
to
out.
try, and I was like,
fuck
let
with
me
it
not
right
bring
now.
the police to my house.
I was about to do it. I'm like, let me not fuck
No,
with
no.
this.
It's exaggerated, but I think it got across the point where, yeah, you want to be an asshole, you're going to get treated like one. Gilbert, I know you got a lot to say about these comments, brother.
No, I do. And it's interesting seeing like the general. I mean, it's like I'm 40, but again, I love this next evolution of found footage. We're supposed to not like these characters, and I'm sure that our generations, I'm sure our elders said the same stuff about us, especially when Jackass came out. So it's funny hearing this.
Ooh, good.
It's funny hearing
Jackass.
this.
That's
you
a
you
great.
kids, Jackass, but it's like it's just we're all like that. We're all curmudgeons once we get this age. It's supposed to be this way. So the comments section is unbelievably accurate. I know sometimes if I had a few and I'm in a foul mood, I'll go under an anonymous name and have fun, and I will. I'll get up the demons sometimes, but I love seeing these comments because they're doing this shit, and it's just funny because again, the anonymous mask makes you not aware of the dangers that you're putting people. Now, I'm not saying I'm making threats, but these people are this is their world. This is what you're used to. In your comments, you can say anything. You have no regard for real danger, and that's why I laugh nowadays when people are like, "Movie didn't scare me." You've never been physically hurt or been in danger before. That's what's lacking nowadays is people have built up this unbelievable rapid buildup of callousness that you see in the 911 call. His friends, now I'm playing COD, dog. So the comment section was even funnier. Like we said, bridging the gap between, at one point there was a teacher. He's like, I said I would be on here if my students got all straight A's. And seeing that whole yeet thing was funny because again, I worked at a restaurant, so I have a one up because I hear all the kids talking this way. So I'm used to it. So watching this movie, I was like, I see it from this perspective. I have a different way of seeing this. And it's so accurate. And yeah, of course, you're like, oh, brain rot. But we're the ones saying stupid shit too. And I love their stuff, especially the culture of comment section. What's one of the big things is feet. Show me your feet. That's one of the biggest things I could not stop fucking laughing about. And my daughter pointed that out.
That was Pete.
In case you notice, all the commentators had their own personalities.
Running, show me your feet. The guy's screaming for a map, and he's like, show me a map to your feet. It's the funniest shit. I was like, how does people not see this is funny? The entire time, the running joke is Peter PP. He's got about 15 comments talking
everything was about
that.
feet.
Somebody finally told him, you're not getting the feet.
Pete, no feet for you. And it's hilarious. Like he's got this Quentin Tarantino obsession with feet, but you see that in comment sections. And so I've been on a big AI and dead internet theory rabbit hole, but it's like stuff like this prevents something like a dead internet because regardless if you say brain rot or anything, this is creating a playful community, a real community still, using stupid-ass words that bots can't replicate, like saying "giat," like saying "riz." This movie's doing a lot more than what we're thinking. One second, I got a little bit more here.
Because
you're seeing these words, and of course, like the ages of like 32 and up are like, oh, this is so stupid. But it is funny. I appreciate those words because if not, it becomes a dead language. You need to keep the shit going. You might find it moronic and idiotic. This stuff has to keep going. I'm sure the phrases that I used as a kid were horrific. I'm sure back in the
Gilbert,
70s.
Check this out. Lexi's going to laugh at this one. When I was coming up in junior high, crisscross was big.
Yeah,
These
man.
two motherfuckers had everybody wearing their clothes backwards, man. I know, GR, you seen people.
I see people, yeah.
I never did it, but I'm like, look at these idiots. And
I
that's
thought you all was stupid.
Exactly.
And I listened to that music.
Again, I'm just bringing it up because what you see, this the younger generation, they want to do what everyone else does. Monkey see, monkey do.
Absolutely. This was the great unifier. It got your attention. It kept it going. It was a great driver even to the very end. But what I loved about it, though, because I wrote a little thing about this, is that it's like it is a dissociation of reality. People are gods. People aren't giving that up. They call him right now. He was at a point where he was trapped, and they thought it was funny as shit to give him a call. Now, I laughed too. I did
laugh at that one.
I did laugh because he's a scumbag.
I would have done the same thing
but
too,
it's
which
like,
is the worst part.
We're dissociated from real danger, and that's what this is. You're playing God, and we don't realize that is an issue. When people talk about, the multiverse and stuff like that. We're living in it. These are alternate lifelines that you're stepping into from TikTok on live streams. These are different worlds you're stepping into, and people are playing God, and we saw that. A lot of those comments are funny, but the comment section, maybe I'm just reading too much into it. There was, like I said, more to this movie that I think people are overlooking, and that's too bad.
I agree. There's a lot of subtext in this film.
A lot. And I just think people are missing it because the characters are annoying. They're supposed to be that way. You got to get past that.
Guess what?
That in my review. It's going to happen, but look at the comments.
Go online right now. You're going to see people worse than that.
yeah. But I'm like, it's a clever movie. I promise. Just read this comment section more because that's golden. I've never seen something more creative. I love Deadstream. I might have an edge on it, but the comment section here, wow, that's all I can talk about is that comment section. I'm done there.
It was the comment section that drove the actions of the 4 streamers. So whatever the comments was going drove what they were doing. Because Spenifer had a chance to leave, and the minute they said, you guys are boring, you guys suck, she turned around and left. She basically left them in the car, and she went to go, and she ended up in the swamp. So all their actions happened because of the comments they were getting. Even when Steve went back up to get the hat, he only got the hat because he was getting shit on by everybody. Oh, they really don't like me. They really hate what I'm doing. So then the reason he got off first because he was the nice one out of all of them. He wasn't the one that was portraying somebody he's not. Because every time he tried, it was under pressure from Chad. So then when he went back to his normal self, that's why he got killed off first. I like the fact that he got killed off, and they used his phone to continue the stream and get it going. So there was a lot of things. As far as the comment goes, like when they found a dead body, one comment was, tell me you're a sociopathic douchebag without telling me you're sociopathic douchebag. Man, how many times do you see that in freaking comments these days? You know, there was another one. My uncle told me dead bodies smell like Doritos. It just had me dying.
Yeah. I love Doritos. I don't like that.
I don't want to think about that. I do not want to think about dead bodies when I eat my. I have Doritos actually too.
Like Cool Ranch.
I'm gonna eat those. I don't do
Cool Ranch, bro.
The part where he got hit with the axe and he's hiding in the cupboard and under the sink. You know, anyone have his cell phone number? Call it now. Oh, someone called his number. They called it, and then when he got hit, that dude called D. Evans Chem. He's the one that was doing the yeet the whole time. He goes, oh, he had the yeet scared out of him. And then the next comment was like, SMH bro, still not know how to use it. And then he asked, what's the proper usage of it? So the whole time this dude's just looking for approval of how to use it.
Mind you, this film came out before yeet became popular in WWE. Remember that?
Yeah, there was another part where, you know, he's running into the woods. And one person puts, oh, he looks yeet. He should go see a doctor. And the next person goes, he asks, you say yeet was a synonym for sick, correct? So he's asking questions about how to continue to use the yeet. And then there was another one that, if a douchebag streamer dies in the forest and no one is watching, does he still make a sound? I mean, but this is the reaction this new generation does. It's like they go after, then, come on, the funniest scene was the 2 frat guys. When they get out the car,
hold on. That scene when he was talking shit about guys, you're not coming, blah blah blah. And also the guys do show up. Yo, Chad, get inside. It was them.
Dude, they get out the car.
But JR, I'll forget if I don't mention this. When he gets in the car, you see they're driving him crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then you see in the chat, somebody was like, Chad low-key hates these guys.
I do remember that.
And they got out the car, and then the one comment was like, he's taking his shirt off. He's taking his shirt off. And they go, he gets killed. The comment was, man, he never got that merch.
Yeah, the merch. He wanted free merch.
The comment was like, too fast, too furious, too stupid. And the comments were just so hysterical. And they drove the film. Every reaction that everybody in this film was in, the comments were the driving force. I mean, it was ridiculous, but when he called his cousin, and his cousin was worried about him signing the contract.
Margarita, please.
That shit was hysterical because there's people like that they just want the fame so bad. And then he calls him back and, by the way, you never signed a date.
I noticed that. When he signed the e-signature, I was like, he didn't date it. I said to myself, I guess, filmmakers, something they just skip over things. No, they brought that shit back. You didn't date it.
And then when you mentioned that he called 911, they knew who he was. Is this Chad?
The vlogger. They called the vlogger.
Yeah, they hung up on him. You know, and then he actually mentioned one of your favorite actors because he's in the car driving off, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you know who's going to play me in the movie is going to be Tom Holland or The Rock."
Tom Holland.
It was Ariana Grande's, you know, Jen. But I mean, everything in this movie was driven by the commentary because all the actions that they did, he had the chance to leave. He didn't want to leave because people were calling him an asshole for leaving Jen behind. Then when he goes to, you know, save Jen, they're like, "You're stupid, go save her." So it's like, it was this generation that we constantly see on the news where there's an incident of violence that happens, the first thing they do is take out their phones and record instead of helping. So that was, everybody was basically wanted to see things go wrong instead of actually helping. Because I think you only had 2 or 3 people that were like, "Yo, call the cops," where the cops. Everybody was like, "Yo, I want to see this dude get killed."
I always talk about how George Romero always made films for the times. Give this movie like 20 years, you go back to watch it, you're gonna be like, it's like a time capsule. That's what this film is. Like, this is what these young cats, this is how they were living their lives. Joe, the psychologist. Well, anything else you picked up that hasn't already been spoken of?
Well, let me just. The one thing about this movie, you guys are right. It's a complete social commentary because watching the comment section and seeing people actually wish death on other people. Like, and some of them, when you see some of their handles, obviously they're not using their own real names, Gilbert, and going in there and just saying these things. And I thought, like, God, this is really horrible. And I love that somebody in there all of a sudden said, Chad gets the axe. And there we get our title movie.
And that's how
everybody carried that on and it kept going.
That's a good point, Joe.
Then
Thank you for bringing that up.
It turned into literally everybody making videos.
It went viral.
Yeah. Dancing, doing this. People just fucking died. And you guys are really, this is what you like. So I thought like this is where the movie was smart, where it wasn't actually what, like I think JR said it. The comment section carried the movie a lot more than the movie itself. It's what people reacted to as far as what the individuals did in the movie is where the intelligence comes in this movie. It's watching kind of how society is right now. And that's kind of the sad part. And that's the fucking horror in this movie.
That's the beauty.
Psychologist out.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, man, Joe got deep, yo. I like the fact that you did get deep on that because I know how you mentioned, JR mentioned a horror comedy. I don't, like you mentioned, Joe, I don't see it. This is a social commentary. It's a satire. It's a sign of the times. I mean, me and JR, I played World of Warcraft for years where I was always one of the older ones playing it, and everyone else, this is how they talk. This is how they behave. And the fact that, yeah, Chad was an asshole. Chad probably planned so many fake deaths in his streaming career that, of course, nobody's going to take this guy serious. And that's like the dangers of being a social media influencer. That's what it brings.
Where my heart really hurt and my soul left my body was when one of the commenters said, "Run, Forrest, run." And someone goes, "Who's Forrest?" I'm like, oh, dead. Like, you don't know who Forrest is.
And that little bastard username was doing that throughout the entire thing.
Yes.
Throughout the entire
It was
thing.
probably
between
the
that
same
one
username.
and
Yeah.
saying like spoilers for old shows. Like it was a great sign.
I caught that. The spoilers.
hilarious.
Yeah. It must be a statute of limitations for that.
Yeah, oh, that was it. It was like Breaking Bad. Oh, Mr. Walter White's in the building.
Walter
Yes,
White. Yeah.
spoilers.
Oh, yeah.
The one
Like
comment I did highlight though was hilarious, man. It was all in caps. It was like, "Please save Spence. He's my special little man." From Horny Dude Josh, 1972. I'm like, Joe!
Oh, why me?
Because you would type something like that.
I would have saved Steve.
Gil, gonna start with you, my friend. Closing thoughts. Rate it. You've been here before. You know how we roll.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go right off the bat and give this movie, like out of a rating of like out of 5, I'd probably be like a 4, man, 4.5, just because I love this next evolution of found footage. These live stream films are wonderful, just like I love, what's it called? Jetstream. That should be in my hands pretty soon. But hashtag Chad Gets the Axe. I went in Unfortunately, JR, I'm sorry that Joe ruined the movie for you, but no, JR, you ruined the movie for Joe. My bad.
Oh, I was going to say no. It was the other way around.
I'm so sorry. But JR ruined the movie for Joe with expectations, and I know I've done that to people who are like, "You're gonna love this movie," and then I look at them and they're like,
See, I'm the opposite. When he said horror comedy, I'm like, but I'm like, ooh, I like this.
I saw the very comedic thumbnail, I just went in with zero expectations, no bar, nothing. And I took it on the chin. I was like, these MFers are annoying, but I know they're telling me that. I know this is a satire. And I was like, maybe this isn't an intentional comedy, but unintentionally, it's goddamn hilarious throughout all of it. Their usage of the slander, the hit trends of the time that they're plugging into, like, they're doing like Spinnifer. They're doing their ad thing with the green stuff. They're doing our glow up for Devil's Manor. All these things are very impressive. And what's more impressive, I'm sorry, Lexi, I'm with you. I'm an old head too, but I love the transition on how they kept the movie going. Because normally it's like, how are you going to keep us going from this point of view and this way of making the film? The transitions of these in the different apps I thought was unbelievably clever. Because I'm like, when I watch movies like VHS, I love that franchise, but I'm like, how are you going to keep this going? What creative way can you do? I hadn't seen that before. I really enjoyed how they did that, because when they did screen share like an Unfriended, I was like, oh shit, how are you going to do different ones? You're very limited. They found a way. The frat boys were hilarious. I liked it too, because it showed not just towards the streamers, but how everybody can have mob mentality in a second. Because those girls are all freaking glazing that one dude that all of a sudden, we don't like him anymore. We like these dudes, we hate them. And it's just fascinating to see, not just that, but throughout the movie, the pitchfork immediately. And it's kind of scary because you get canceled for anything. One of my favorite things from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was, go ahead, bro, you're going to get canceled. And the other face tears his ass up. Bring back more of that. And I like that. I'm trying to think. I wanted something original. And with this movie, it's something that I hadn't seen in a while. I was waiting for something from the Benson brothers, because I thought, again, maybe this was one big setup. I was expecting more from the Benson brothers. You see them popping up every once in a while. And Spinnifer, they did the right thing. And I was like, oh, shit, that's cool. You don't see horror movie logic being followed correctly. No, they still came back. So I was happy they reeled them back in. And there was some spooky stuff like, I thought it was scary when they were at the swamp. And she did that phone thing. That was one of the scarier things I've seen. I was like, holy shit, that was amazing. I don't like murky water. I was like, oh God. And then when they pulled back up, I was like, ah! And then they show her feet. I was like, Pee, stop asking for her feet, because there they are. Great movie. The 911 calls were hilarious. It's just, one of my new favorites. I really enjoyed this film.
When you mentioned the two frat guys, that scene of what goes over the heads of a lot of people is that highlights the dangers that these social media influencers has over the casual audience, where these guys would beat up people and emulate these social influencers, whether it's when the guy fucking the ninja pizza and shit, when he slapped the pizza out of the guy's hand, ate the guy right in front of his kid, and just being disrespectful. That kind of behavior translates to a younger audience, right? Or an audience that doesn't know any better, and this is who the only people they can relate to, and they're gonna try and emulate these behaviors, but in the real world. Chad does this shit behind the camera. These motherfuckers are out there really doing this shit, because when the shit went down, Chad wanted nothing to do with these two guys, and I liked that a lot. Lexi, you look quiet over there, so let me throw it to you, Lex. I know you're right, yo. You're nice, aren't you? Look at Lexi. Yo.
Yes, I feel good.
I know Lexi. I know when Lexi's nice. I love it. All right, talk to me, Lexi. What you got for your closing thoughts?
Well, I feel like I've been harsh this entire time.
No, you're fine.
I still feel the way that I feel.
Yeah.
However, hindsight, what I liked about this was literally like take away, and this is just me, taking away the fact that, okay, this is like social media vibe. These guys are all annoying. However, I liked the story that they were, Spicy Steve was my favorite out of all of them. Because he not only was doing the whole social media thing with Chad and Spinnifer, but I like the fact that he was giving history. Now, I've said it multiple times, I believe, on What's Your Story? I like history of where horror comes from, like whether is it a haunted building, what's the history of it, you know. So I like that Spicy Steve was saying a lot of like, oh well, back in whatever year he was talking about this, he was going on about the story and of the building. I like listening to that. And then the horror aspects of the film, just going from the attic and seeing the dead body, and then he's putting his phone down and someone's behind him, then he gets axed. And then they go on to Jennifer, you know, she separates from Spencer and she, you know, gets pulled. That part was my favorite scene as well. From a horror aspect, it was the part where she puts the phone in the water, but when you pull it up, you get that split second. It's like a millisecond of the person under the bridge.
Oh, I caught
you
that.
have to really pay attention.
I rewound that for Adam.
To
Yeah, I'm like, you just missed that.
I thought that was Chad at first.
Yeah.
No, I saw it. I'm like,
They got Chad.
But Adam turned away, and I'm like,
it gave me Jason Voorhees vibes. So I was like, I loved that part. That was great, horror aspect. Then it leads to what's his name, Spencer's death. That's unfortunate. But I just like the lineup of everybody going off one by one. Like I said before, I felt like it happened so fast. Like they just arrived and then whack, acts left and right. So my favorite other little snippet of a scene was, although Chad's like very, you know, hyper type of person, I felt like there was moments he was trying, you know, to, you know, run for his life. And in the part where he's under, I don't know what it was, like a cabinet, or he just crawled into a little crawl space and he's still streaming. Like, I don't know if I can still be streaming and run for my life, but I get, you know what I mean? Like I right. And I love the fact that he's keeping it going. Like I said, it kept me engaged. I've been saying it this entire time, although I feel like I've been harsh with it. I loved the horror aspect minus the commentary part and taking all that
it was deeper than what people think.
I loved, yes. So that's all I have to say about that one.
What's your score?
Overall, I never said the score. It's a 3 for me. It's a 3.
This is the evolution of the found footage horror, because you go back to the movie Unfriended, you go back to the movie Host they filmed during COVID, you go back to the movie Spree that was all about the views. So this is basically the next evolution of the found footage genre. You're not going to see anything like the Paranormal Activity.
Or the Den too.
Everything has to do with the social media aspect of it. Everything that's going, the dangers of the online, dangers of the web in every capacity. And this film highlighted that. And the fact that that all the characters were driven by the commentary and the views. The willingness to do whatever is needed for the views. Now, you mentioned the last thing they did before they hit the manor was that shot where they kicked the pizza from the father's hands right in front of his daughter. That's the last thing they did. And people didn't like what they did. So it kind of built up leading into the manor where they were already going over there with people not really liking them to a certain degree. Now, if you look at the order the characters that were killed, they killed the 2 favorite characters first. Not many horror movies do that. They usually save the favorite characters for last. Steve died first, then Jennifer, and Spencer, I think, got the worst axe shot because that dude was way back and just hit him and instantly. Now
he was gutted too. Don't forget.
He was gutted. Yeah,
he was getting gutted like a fish.
Yeah. Now the scene that had me dying was when the dude took off his shirt and he's getting chased. He like does this and he just takes off running. And some of the comments were like, "Wow, Burroughs is really fast." And they
they noticed that because the other times he wasn't. Yeah,
no, it was hysterical. Like little things like that. Like don't get me wrong, I would love to see that kill, but the fact that they didn't show it, I think, added to the.
Or Gio, how about the Snapchat filter when Steve had the Snapchat, and that's how we saw someone behind him. That was brilliant. They put the mask on.
That was cool.
I would have been like, "Whoa, what the fuck?"
That's why I don't do that.
Because they only recognize his faces, so there must have been somebody that was clever.
No, this movie did very well, and Yes, it was basically a commentary on social media, commentary on the Gen Z generation now. And I do love the fact that you had that clash in the comments between the old generation and the new generation. The MacGyver comment, hysterical. Blair Witch comment.
Who's MacGyver?
Yeah, who's MacGyver? What's
I MacGyver shit all the time.
I wouldn't expect a younger person, honestly, to know who MacGyver
My
is.
daughter looked at me and said,
They just redid
MacGyver?
MacGyver though.
But who? When did we do MacGyver?
It was on CBS with.
Who watched it?
Well, I mean,
My mom watched it. She made me watch it. I watched MacGruber.
Oh, okay. More people know MacGruber than MacGyver. I'll tell you that right now.
That one guy took Chad's phone and walked through the whole house while Chad was trying to, untie Jennifer. And the comment was, I know Rick don't like this comment. This killer has a promising career in cinematography.
He was good.
Yes, he was good.
He knew how to frame those shots, man. He knew his Dutch angles, his mediums, his
So,
his
Joe, here's the
shots.
true question I got for you. What film that was on your movies that fucked me up that you're trying to get me and Rick to watch for such a long time?
Serbian film.
Okay. The scene where they're upstairs and they find a body.
Oh, I
The comment was made, ocular penetration.
But that's from the
But
Sadness.
that's also from Sadness.
Oh, the sadness. Oh, God.
Yes, yes.
Wait, what? I had to.
Ocular penetration. Yes.
Ocular
When was that in the
penetration.
sadness though?
Oh,
That
God.
was when
And
the
the
hospital
Sadness
scene.
one was
Oh,
it?
wait. We said the
The
Oculus penetrate. Never
I was
mind.
like, oh, God.
Ocular
Really, we're going to
penetration.
talk about that.
Which I liked that because they threw little homages from little films. The fact
What's
that
your
they,
score, brother? Come on, man.
oh, sorry, my score. I'm gonna give it a 4.
If I would have just seen this movie and just seen it without going in thinking it's going to be comedy horror, I would have appreciated it more than I appreciate it now. I'm going to give it a 4, so I'll give my score right now, only because of the social commentary of this fucking movie is so strong. And I hate social commentary movies. I have like fucking ad nauseum mentioned how much I hate that in a movie. There's a right way to do it.
Yeah, Joe. There's the George Romero way, which is this.
So
film.
we love it.
Yep.
This was motherfucking George Romero.
Yeah.
This was not
That's
so
a
much in your
compliment.
face.
Wow. Holy.
No, this was not so much in your fucking face. The way that Texas Chainsaw Massacre was the latest one. So
that was bad.
I honestly think, and again, I mentioned it before, and I'm not trying to beat you up, JR, but this goes into trailers and conversations you have with friends, or when people comment on movies that you go in thinking it's going to be a certain way. I think if I would have gone into this movie without any preconceived notions, it would have hit a lot more harder. But because I was literally waiting for the comedy part for me to, because I was going in, it's a comedy horror, Totally Killer. Like you knew that was a comedy horror. So I went in and I'm like, this is not a comedy horror.
It's not. No, it's not.
So I think that's where and it's not, I'm not literally blaming you. I'm just trying to say, sometimes guys, when you watch trailers, when you talk to your friends, your perception of a movie you're about to watch is going to be affected by what somebody says.
God bless you.
Did you burp? It's okay.
Thank you. No, I sneezed.
She's
Oh,
Bless you.
don't hold your sneeze in. That gives you a heart attack.
I tried.
Aneurysm.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the movie itself is actually a really fucking good movie because, again, yes, it is driven by what's going on in the comments. If you didn't know that ahead of time, and you would have then watched the movie and gone, like, "Oh shit, it's happening over here. I have to pay attention here." But I love the movie. I love to see how the unfortunate part of the younger, because if we would have been in that comment section, we would have been like, "Bro, there's something behind you. Run, get the fuck out." Like we would have given like good directions. Other people were literally cheering this thing on and then leading you the wrong way.
But again, Joe, the duality of it, people were telling him to turn around and run, but because it's a chat room, he's not taking them serious.
Oh, right. And then he wanted the views. And this is what we're doing. I mean, this is literally what we're doing right now. We're doing a show to get views. So we understand this. And this is where the morality falls in. I think it was Rick who brought up Logan Paul. It was the Suicide Forest. the thing that he shot there, that he shot a dead body, that was where like that's why he became a wrestler, because his career was done as far as
No,
you know.
he was a
being-
boxer before that, though. He was,
No, that's
And he
his
still
brother.
sucks.
No,
No,
they both,
he did
he
too.
boxed
Both
too.
dogs.
Wait. That was a slight on his career on social media. And Steve had the heart. Steve was a nice guy. If I were to be doing what they're doing, I would totally be Steve. You know, I couldn't be Chad. I couldn't be the in your face. You know, I would sit there and go, this is not right, guys. But I mean, I actually, again, I think if I just had watched the movie with no preconceived notions, would have appreciated for what the movie is.
I'm surprised nobody had mentioned this. I saw my two brothers when I watched this movie, because right in the very beginning, I think it was Steve that was talking. He labeled himself the man, the myth, the legend. I'm like, JR! And of course, and then even more prominent, Jennifer, when she's at the swamp, she's like, okay, guys, fun fact, I have a phobia of with the snakes or whatever. I'm like, holy shit, that's something Joe would fucking say.
I did pick up the fun fact.
She said fun fact, and it was a phobia. That is so Joe.
I totally love that. I'm not. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, but anyway,
I didn't want to pat myself
this
on the back.
movie is a solid 4 from me. I highly enjoyed this movie. Entertaining to the very end. Watch the credits, because the viewers you get, the people that called foul, the people that believed in Chad, the people that wished death upon Chad, you get it from all over the place. So even to the very last credit, it was fucking entertaining. It's a solid 4 for me. So, yep, that's gonna do it for Chad Gets the Axe. Oh, hashtag Chad gets the axe. That's right. Well, thank you for joining us once again, Horror Fiends. I'm Ricky Grimes. Thank you for our 2 guests, Lexi, family, The Fourth Corner, and of course, Gilbert from the Attic Review. Subscribe to his channel. That's the man right there. He recently did a live stream about, he was watching From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Very entertaining. Very
I was funny
entertaining.
too, Rick. Yeah, thanks for that, man.
Yeah,
That's
no
one of my
problem.
favorites, dude. It was a good time.
I had a little bit of time. I said, you know what? Let me go spend some time with Gilly right here, because that was a fun stream, bro. That's such a great movie, and that's the kind of content you're gonna get only from my man Gil. So subscribe to him.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
No problem. And of course, my 2 brothers, JR and Joe the Psychologist. Come back next week. Stay healthy, stay sane, stay good and happy. Watch horror movies, but most of all, stay scared.